my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's insane. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Saturday, and I'm bringing you an episode that I recorded yesterday because I thought it was going to be my Friday episode, but it ended up being a long one because I love Penn and Teller's bullshit, and there was just so much to talk about. It's such a great show, but of course they don't always get it right, and really over time they've been proven wrong on a lot of things because they come from a very closed-minded, atheist, agnostic, nothing is really possible, skeptical point of view. It just was so cool to go into all 8 seasons and talk about all of the different episodes that there were that I loved so much, and then at the same time were ultimately wrong. And when I watched them, I was very much on the same page as them. But I've grown beyond the atheist agnostic box, and I've left myself open for a lot more possibilities, and seen a lot of proof, and had a lot of experience myself that there's a lot more going on in this world. So a lot of the things for Penn and Teller's bullshit, I need to kind of debunk for you. At the same time, maybe you'll disagree with me. Maybe you'll be like, "Oh, come on, Jesse, you're crazy." They're right, and that's cool. There's plenty of things that they are right about, and that we are in total agreement about, and there'll be plenty of things that you will be in total agreement about, and there may be some things. Almost definitely be some things that will be like, "I don't know, Jess. I think like this or whatever." When you watch the show, it's a great show. Anyway, I didn't expect to do such a long show. This was my celebration for Friday, but I should have realized, because it's so many seasons of a show. Usually I would do this on a Saturday, and it's not one season. It's a whole 8 seasons of Penn and Teller's bullshit. So we're gonna get into it today. But please understand, when I started this episode, I only cut off a little snippet of the beginning saying that it was Friday. And when I come in from here, I don't realize that it's gonna be Saturday's episode, but that's indeed what it has become. So without further ado, let me get into what I recorded yesterday for Penn and Teller's bullshit recommendation, celebration, and at least partial debunking. Love you guys. Enjoy. I'm Jesse Blaze Snider, your coolest man alive, coming at you live from Blacklight District Studio. And today we're celebrating something that I fucking love: Penn and Teller's bullshit. Even though I have a lot to say about it now, even though I still love it, even though they're wrong. They're wrong about a lot of their episodes, and I'm going to give you some perspective, my perspective, on exactly what it is they are, not exactly what it is they're wrong about, but exactly which episodes were wrong and maybe which episodes were right. I think that this show still has so much value for so many reasons, and we're going to talk about it in just a moment. I think that Penn and Teller, the people, the atheists, the agnostic, the skeptic, they still exist in our society. I used to be one of them. I loved this man, and I worshiped the ground he walked on because he was the loudest version of me I could see. And I was so pleased to meet him many years ago, and occasionally correspond with emails with Penn. He is a very fucking down-to-earth dude. Really, really, really cool guy. And very smart, brilliant, clever, whatever you want to call him. Him and Teller are brilliant at what they do. I love seeing their magic shows, and love seeing all the shows that they do. Like one day I'll cover Penn and Teller's Fool Us, which I love Penn and Teller's Fool Us as well. But this seemed like the one that I needed to start with. Anyway, this week has been a banger already. Monday, we rocked out to Skid Row's Slave to the Grind in celebration of Sebastian Bach, because a lot of people have been mentioning me taking over as the vocalist for Twisted Sister, but they've also been mentioning Sebastian. And occasionally I've seen like a little bit of like this, no, not like a little like shade being thrown at Sebastian Bach of all people. Like to me, like I understand why they're giving me the edge because I'm Dee's kid, But Sebastian would do a great job. And Sebastian's a great singer, and he deserves respect. So I just decided to come here and throw some respect at the man because he deserves it. So, what did we do? Oh, if you like music as well, beyond, if you're listening to the Monday music thing, I do a monthly now music podcast called All Your Favorite Bands Suck. There are now 54 of my favorite bands. Each episode represents me just pitching you on every great album, every great song. Like, not every great song, but I'll usually play at least 3 or 4 songs off of any album. And I'll recommend the other tracks that I like, and I'll recommend the whole catalog. So if you want to get into some really great music, oh man, there's tons. Grandson in particular, brand new artist. He is so good. I mean, he's been coming out over the past few years. He has enough of a catalog for me to fully cover his material. But so good. If you like music, check out All Your Favorite Bands Suck every month, or every Monday. Coolest Alive. We got you an album. Just one album, though. All Your Favorite Bands Suck covers the whole catalog. Tuesday, we got Wild with animation and Monsters, Inc., which is one of my favorite animated films ever. Wednesday, we dove into an awesome comic book, the beginning of an amazing comic book arc that really, really lasts a long time, written by Dan Slott and a whole bunch of other great writers and amazing artists that'll get you into Spider-Man. If you've ever wanted to get into reading some Spider-Man comics and be able to go back and read a lot, go down a whole line and continue with the story and just keep going. I finished that graphic novel. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. Brand New Day is a really great place to do that from. Okay. And that's why I recommend it so wholehearted. It's really solid. There's really great artists, really great writers. And if you're a person who's, I kind of like Spider-Man, whatever. It would be nice if there was an entry point to Spider-Man. This is your entry point to Spider-Man. Take it. Take the fucking entry point. Thursday, we lit up the screen with live action gold and the Transporter, baby. Jason Statham's star vehicle. What a great action flick that is. Showed it to my son Grayson the other day. So many memorable scenes. I think that is the original kung fu fight inside a bus. They're the first ones. So, correct me if I'm wrong. JBS at Blacklight District Studio, if I'm wrong about that, and somebody else did the bus fight first. But that's the first one that I can remember. Jason Statham on that bus kicking some ass. Love the Transporter. And now here we are. I can't believe it's fucking Wild Card Friday already. Anyway, I have not figured out Saturday's Mother Show yet, but last Saturday's episode was straight up legendary because we were talking about the new Muppet Show special featuring Sabrina Carpenter, produced by Seth Rogen. It's awesome. I talk about my whole journey with writing for the Muppets and trying to get into the Muppets camp, and I have a long history with a lot of people over there because I'm a huge Muppets fan. So if you're a Muppets fan, you'll really, really dig that show. And if you're a toy fan, the previous Saturday Mother Show episode was, I had a guest. I had my friend Digger Mesh on the show, who is one of the biggest names in toys. And he did, so a little bit of a retrospective for me, because I was just kind of asking him, what was it like when you came the first time in '93 to Toy Fair? And then now you come all these years later to 2026. How has the industry changed? And so many other questions like that. So Digger was cool. He was a good sport. He's one of my best friends, but I just respect and love him so much. So any opportunity that I get to, to just kind of hold him up and go, this man's the man. What does he have to say about things? I like to do that. So that's Saturday. Yeah, but come on, guys. Are you with the schedule yet? You want animation? Tuesdays. You want comics? Wednesdays. You want live action? Thursdays. You want music? Mondays. You want documentaries, comedies? Comedians, games, plays, Fridays. There's so much to enjoy. And over the past 6 months, I have been digging up and dusting off all my favorite movies, all my favorite animation, all my favorite comic books, all my favorite albums. It's been so fun. I've covered so much shit. Every week, when I see the list, there's a vibe, it really, I feel something so good. Every week when I'm about to share things with you guys, I get so humming, because I just look at it. A couple weeks ago, it was Twisted Sisters, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, and Animations Over the Hedge from DreamWorks with Bruce Willis and Steve Carell in a breakout animation role. And comics, it was Preacher Volume 1, Gone to Texas by Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon, one of my favorite graphic novels of all time. Just made me love comics. Live action was Cool Hand Luke, starring
Paul Newman, one of my favorite actors of all time. And on Friday, we did fucking role playing games, man. Pen and paper role playing games. We talked about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and After the Bomb from Palladium Books, the fucking role playing game of Ninja Turtles that they used to have back in the day, which is fucking cool as hell. And last week we did the humans hunting humans week, but this week again it was Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. Always admired Sebastian Bach. He was a big fan of my dad's, and he was great. He was a great musician himself, and I looked up to him, and I got to go meet him, and like Uncle Sebastian, and Monsters Inc. Skid Row, Slave to the Grind, Monsters Inc. One of my favorite fucking animated films ever. One of the early Pixar ones that solidified them. And then Amazing Spider-Man Brand New Day, a run that I really, really liked, that got me reading Spider-Man for the longest period of time prior to then. Like, there was different runs and stuff like that, but there was a lot of issues that came out in a short period of time, and a lot of writers that I liked, and a lot of artists that I liked, and it got me to join up. It got me to get into it. And I really appreciated the way they formatted it, because it was all based on kind of being open to new readers. So, it was a cool one. And just so many different great talents that I associate with it. And then the transporter and the fucking kung fu talents of Mr. Jason Statham, and the action directing talents of fucking what's his name? Leterrier, the same guy who Louis Leterrier, the guy who did the Incredible Hulk. The Transporter is such an exceptional action movie. And then Penn and Teller's bullshit. Like just every week I'm just filled with favorite, really special to me, something that I think is great to share with other people, because they'll get the benefits of it. Oh, favorite of mine, oh, they're my hero. Like, it's just every week. This is what I do now, and this is what I've been doing for fucking 6 months now. Every week, I just give you a whole meal of some of the best pieces of entertainment that I've ever experienced. I hope that you guys are taking advantage of all the recommendations, and I really hope that your expectation isn't fucked up, because I tend to recommend everything just so blanket. It's great. I mean, that's not true. I definitely have a certain amount of nuance. I think you guys know when I really, really, really like something, and when something maybe not thing. I try to be honest, but within the context of all of this stuff, it is meant to be all sort of blanket. It's great. That's what I want the show to be. I don't want this show to be the critique. I want people to just be honored when they're mentioned. I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but I mean, like, I want to be very consistent and very honest, and I don't do the things that I don't like, so that when somebody has made something that I do like, it earns its place. It's there. Yeah, it's there along the other things, side the things that I do like. And I don't know who gives a shit what my opinion is. It is what it is. I'm just really an outlet for all of you guys, I hope, out there, to just get a whole bunch of recommendations on stuff. So, like, it doesn't matter the things that I don't like. I don't like to spend any time talking to you about any of the things that I don't like. And I'm gonna spend any time shit talking somebody and going into fucking detail about how I didn't like, oh my god, like, who even cares? I mean, like, sometimes it's appropriate. Sometimes there's things that you want to break down and whatnot. But in general, what I want to be doing is celebrating with you. I want to be recommending things to you. If you guys say, yeah, I don't really like that, okay, but at least I'm not putting any negativity out into the world. I'm putting positivity out into the world. I'm giving opportunities for people who make movies and make comic books and make music for new people to possibly go and enjoy their stuff. And as an artist, that's all I want. I love the concept of my show. And I wish it wasn't me, because then they could cover me too, and I could be a part of the thing. But I'm not gonna cover myself on the show. I mean, in tiny ways, occasionally I do, and in small ways, occasionally I will in the future. Like, when we did that episode on healing frequencies. But I don't think I did that on this show. I think I did that on Everything They Don't Want You to Know. But I just want everything to be really genuine for everybody. And that's just my only goal. My only goal is just to genuinely, enthusiastically recommend things, And worst case scenario is like you don't like it as much as I did. Best case scenario, you like it as much as I did, or you like it even better. And that's what I'm here for. That's why I'm doing this, man. It's so fucking fabulous. I love to I really love to fill this role here. Anyway, I haven't figured out tomorrow, Saturday's Mother Show yet, but last Saturday's episode was straight up legendary. It was about the new Muppet Show with Sabrina Carpenter. It's on Disney Plus, free, and it's great. It's great. It's great. It's great. The previous week was on Toy Fair. I just went and I brought, or I should say, I was brought along with Digger Mesh, one of the biggest names in toys. Look up Digger and you can figure out why. I did an interview with Digger to ask him all about, what the Toy Fair was like yesterday, what it's like today, how it's changed, et cetera, et cetera. And all sorts of great answers. I don't usually do the interview thing, but it was awesome to have Digger on. Thanks for being on the show, Dig. Love you so much. Anyway, tomorrow, I'm sure it's going to be fucking awesome. I'm just not sure what it is yet. Anyway, you can go back and listen to the Muppet Show or the Toy Fair Saturday episodes. They are worth your time, every minute of it. And of course, our backlog of episodes is evergreen, baby. I record every episode of this show very intentionally for it to never go bad. I want this to be something that's possible for you to listen to. Just a recommendation at any time. Even my critiques of things, I try to make them not like so much timely, so much as timeless. Timelessly, there's something that we could speak about here because of this situation. So honestly, you got a fucking long weekend and you're building some shack in your backyard, go put on episode 1 of fucking Coolest Alive, and from when it was called Coolest Geek Alive, and just listen. So many recommendations, and especially in the early episodes of this show, I was really trying to establish myself as a professional writer producer. That's what I do. And I've been watching just the way the entertainment world has shifted and gone over the past like 5-6 years in shock and horror. I'm somebody who really cares about quality work and just things coming out good in the end. And I know how to build teams. I know how to get the fundamentals right for things. And the fundamentals have just so not been right in so much of entertainment for so long. And there's a lot of wise words from a writer who has spent a lot of time studying the mediums of fantasy and science fiction and all this stuff, to be the best there is at what he does at it. That's been my goal. I wanted to be the fucking best in comics. I wanted to be the best writer. I wanted people to go, that guy, he is the single greatest writer. Not because it's Jesse, but because you can't even tell. You can't tell. If I write Batman, you can't tell it's Jesse. If I write Spider-Man, you can't tell it's Jesse. Maybe you can notice that there's a couple proclivities that I might have, some choices that I'll make more often than others. But I don't have a style. I try to write to the story, write to the premise, write to the character. And I spent so much time trying to be so good. The one thing that I had to show for it afterwards was a producer's mind that really understood the difference between greatness and mediocrity. So if you want to know any of that, especially for you budding writers out there, highly recommend you go back to the early episodes as well. Because as time has gone on, I've just kind of moved into a position of, I feel like I've said everything that I needed to say about like the current climate at various episodes at various times. So I don't give two fucks about that. And I'm not commenting on that in any way, shape, or form. I'm just constantly commenting on whatever it is I want to talk about, whatever it is that's like on my mind and seems really genuinely important and worthwhile. But of course, beyond just so much of those early shows and so much of the writing lessons and stuff that was going on there, just a little bit, flash forward to now, and you want animation? Every Tuesday, comics every Wednesday, live action every Thursday, music every Monday, docs, comedians, games, plays every Friday. There's so much to enjoy. So please dig into our back catalog and do enjoy every minute of it. You can reach out anytime at jbs@blacklightdistrict.studio. That's my company where we're cranking out awesome comic books and incredible music. And if you don't believe me, you can head over to blacklightdistrict.studio right now and listen and read for yourself. And if you think they suck, Write me an email. Literally, if you read the comic or you listen to the music, you go, Jesse, this was terrible. You need to stop telling people that. Please write me. Tell me. JBS@blacklightdistrict.studio. You won't. I promise. And for those of you who don't know, our theme song here and the theme song for all of my podcasts, I wrote every one of them. It's going to be fucking awesome. I wrote with my friend Andre Padre Holmes. All Your Favorite Bands Suck. We usually start with Hide Smart, which I wrote with my pal Jason Gleed. And there's a new theme song for Everything They Don't Want You to Know. It used to be The Symptoms, which I wrote with Will Knox. Now it is Conspiracy Theorist, which I wrote by myself. I know you don't think that those songs are terrible. I know what I do. It's a very weird thing. There's a lot of artists like me on planet Earth right now, and we're all trying to figure out how to connect the dots between what do you call it? Sorry, I got distracted as a message came in. Connect the dots between you making art and trying to elevate the art form and raise the level to which films and TV and comic books are being made, and then just the reality of working in these systems, which are so difficult. And then when you go independently, you have to be able to talk yourself up. You have to be able to go, it's worth looking at my material. And I mean, and if you can't say that, you need to walk away. Fortunately, I know I can say that, and I don't feel like an egotist because I'm saying that. I've worked very hard to be worth your while, and I believe that I've done the work to get there. So thank you for those of you who have been listening, have been checking it out. Occasionally, people will try to point out, but usually it's pointed out very nicely by you guys. I'm just like, Jesse, I like you. You love yourself and you talk about yourself, but you also celebrate other people. And God damn it, man, I've dedicated my life to celebrating other people. That's all I do, ultimately, is celebrate other people. So when there's a moment when I say, hey, check out what I have to offer, it's worth your time, I hope that you hear that the right way. Jesse, this man who respects greatness, he respects talent, and is very, very happy to gush and spread as much love across all the places where you can find talent. That's me. And Jesse thinks that he has something to offer. Maybe Jesse, appreciating all of these brilliant artists for all of his life and studying them so closely, has led to him having a certain amount of gift or ability to do this too. So thank you guys again so much. The people out there who have written me about music stuff in particular, listening to my music, it's always sort of seems to be a bit of a surprise. People just go, I just kind of assumed that Dee Snider's son was not going to be so great, and you're a nerd and you write comic books, and most of the comic book writers seem to think that they're not good enough to be movie writers, and it does not seem like that's the case with you. No, it's not the case with me. I chose comics because I love comics. I love music. I love entertainment. I love entertaining you. And I hope that's what this show does. I don't know. It's weird for me. It's just such a weird thing because I just, I do so many shows now, and I just get up and I speak on the mic all the time. And, my roommate will often tell me that I'm very good at this, and, he hears me in the background or whatever. But I constantly, still to this day, I just have thoughts as I'm talking, I don't know. Are there a bunch of people out there going who the fuck is this asshole? What is he talking about or whatever? When I do live streams and you have comments on and stuff like that, people always have so many disagreements. So, I'm sure everybody doesn't agree with necessarily everything I have to say. I don't expect you to. You're not supposed to. You don't have to. You don't have to agree with everything I have to say. Anyway, I really love you guys. The fan base that we've amassed, and you're always very sweet with your critiques. You always seem to there'll be some minor critiques, but they always tend to be these These compliments. Built in, they turned into compliments. So I appreciate you guys. A lot of people will write and just tell me that they really love me. And I really love you. If you're out there and you really love me, like you're feeling connected to me and you really love me, just know that like that's all you have to tell me at like a convention. If you run into me, just tell me that. And right back at you. I love you. If you're listening to these things that I'm saying, all these things that I'm sharing about all these things that I love, and if you're going and you're trying to enjoy some of them too, and if you are getting any joy out of them, and that you've come to love me as being somebody who's trying to share in all these things with you, oh my goodness, what a wonderful world. I love you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You can reach out anytime at JBS at blacklightdistrict.studio. That's my company where we're cranking out awesome comic books and incredible music. If you don't believe me, you can head over to blacklightdistrict.studio right now and see the magic for yourself. In fact, you can actually read and listen to something I didn't write. I just oversaw this book, Mythic Legions, art book number 1. It's written by Gargoyles creator Greg Weisman and created by Four Horsemen Studios and based on their incredible fantasy toy line Mythic Legions. We have paired this epic fantasy masterpiece with 2000s punk metal upstarts baptized by fire. You know, it's like a wine pairing. Their album, The Phoenix, makes an incredible soundtrack, or just loop Juggernaut on repeat now, all for free at blacklightdistrict.studio. And okay, we are diving into this wild card gem any second, but first, most importantly, I fucking love you all. Thank you so much for being here and listening to my show and all the silly things I have to say. You are so appreciated. Care Bear stare to our whole crew. As my daughter Parker says, you my best. Now, let's get weird and celebrate this badass wild card. All right. We are talking about one of my favorite shows of all time. Not only one of my favorite shows of all time, but a show that back in the day I felt like was so important. So important. And honestly, I still feel like it is just as vitally important now. Like, I do my show, Everything They Don't Want You to Know, every Sunday. Everything they don't want you to know. What am I doing? I'm calling bullshit on the things that I think are important to call bullshit on. That is what Penn and Teller are doing on this show. They are wrong about a lot. A lot. I used to be just like them. I was an atheist and I was a skeptic, and I just did not see parameters available for a lot of things that are possible to be possible at the time. And the person who I am now, yelling from the rooftops the things that I think are important to talk about, I would not exist if not for this show. I had to go on this journey of Penn and Teller bullshit with them from 2003 to 2010. And this was airing on Showtime for a while, even though I ended up buying it all on DVD. I watched it all on DVD. Hosted by Penn Jillette and Teller, and created by Penn and Teller. This was an investigative docuseries with a strong, opinionated commentary. It debunks myths, pseudoscience, moral panics, and cultural taboos like crazy, except in a lot of cases, it doesn't really do this. We're going to go over this in a second. Successes, 8 seasons, cult following, influential in early 2000s skeptic movement. Important things to know about the series, it's libertarian-leaning worldview, mixed investigative journalism with satire, frequently controversial, pre-YouTube era myth-busting format, and it helped mainstream skepticism in pop culture. And it did, and that's what I mean. And the people who, like, this mainstream skepticism, people like me and others, I'm sure, we were all destined for the same destination. We were mainstream skeptics. We fucking were very into the Penn and Teller's bullshit, and then we stepped beyond it. And now we're Penn and Teller bullshitting the whole world because we finally have the tools to see beyond what they were looking at, basically. So, trying to decide what I should do first here. I guess the first thing I'll do is gush. And then we're going to go through the different episodes. And I'm going to mention the ones that you should look out for and be aware that they are not right about this. Okay? And like, don't tell Penn I did this. I love him so much. I mean, you can. He can go try and fucking write back. No, but I'm sure actually by now, even especially with the fucking Epstein files releases and so many things, I'm sure that he has been walking back on some of these positions over the years. And remember, it's still interesting. It's still fucking intellectually stimulating for them to be questioning these things and to present this viewpoint, this skeptic viewpoint, this discernment. Learning discernment, thinking like this is great. And then you take that discernment and all that thinking into the subjects that are hard, the subjects that we're struggling with, the subjects that are controversial. For those of you who don't know who Penn and Teller is per se or whatever, Penn and Teller are magicians. Teller doesn't speak, even though he does speak in real life, but he doesn't speak on stage. Penn is the verbose loudmouth. He's doing all the talking, leading the whole thing, and then Teller is the quiet one, and they work as a duo, and they do magic together. And they've produced a number of shows at this point, all of which I've really enjoyed. Very intelligent guys who are practical in magic, which, you know, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but basically at the end of the day, all magic is one thing, and that is sleight of hand. All of it. Just sleight of hand. Sleight of hand and elaborate things being done to make you think that it's anything but sleight of hand, when it's always sleight of hand. It's the only thing they can do. It's the only thing they can do. They can juggle, some of them, but it's all sleight of hand. But that doesn't change it being fun when you can immerse yourself in it and, you know, just kind of let yourself get out of there. So I got a simple list of subjects and stuff for this show, and I guess I'll just go into it now because I'm sure it'll probably spark a couple little pieces of discussion here or there, and then it's going to be the beginning of me taking apart some of the things. And again, this is still entertaining. This is still worth your time, which is why I'm covering it. But I do want to talk about some of these other things. All right, season 1, you got episode 1 is Talking to the Dead. Episode 2 is Alternative Medicine. Episode 3 is Alien Abductions. Episode 4 is End of the World. Episode 5 is Secondhand Smoke Baby /bullshit. 6 is Sex. 7 is Feng Shui Bottled Water. 8 is Creationism. 9 is Self-Helpless. 10 is ESP. 11 is Eat This. 12 is Ouija Boards, Near-Death Experiences. And 13 is Environmental Hysteria. All right. So you're going to see, because people like me, this was the beginning of being able to fucking conversate about things on a lot of levels. Is Talking to the Dead bullshit? I used to think it was. Is it? No, it's not. It's not. Are there people who do it and fake it? Yes, there are. Are there people who are getting it wrong? Is it an exact science, or is it something that can be a little bit vague? When you tune into psychedelic plant medicine and you start attuning yourself to various frequencies and energies, you can see you're an antenna. Sometimes you can tune into things amazingly. And I will tell you, it's got to go back 13 years or something. 13 years ago, I meditated for like 5 hours. And at the end of the 5 hours, I was having this crazy experience, this like healing experience where I was pulled into like almost like a fetus position. And then when I came out of it, I felt joy and great. My body was very positive. And then I know my dead friend, Chris, was there. I could feel him. I could kind of see him. He was just off to the side of me. And he was talking to people. He was talking to other people, like other ghosts. I couldn't see them, but I could see him. I could see his shoulders and his head sticking out of like above this group of people who were like off to the side of me while I was meditating, talking about me. There's other places where I've told that story at greater length, and I mean, it's really meaningful and moving, but they're wrong. There is Talking to the Dead. Alternative medicine? Yeah. It's a tricky thing when you open up these books and you go to look at alternative medicine, because you'll find 10 different answers for what might be good for the common cold or anything else. Well, that's because different regions have access to different plants. So when you're healing with plant medicine, it's about trying to find a plant near you that has the chemical components and compounds that are helpful. Most of the most functioning medicines in existence are based on something that they would call alternative medicine. If you look at the statistics of how fucking advanced we are medically and with our medicine system and what our death rates are for various illnesses, it's deplorable. It's terrible. They want us to think that alternative medicine is bunk. Not Penn and Teller. Penn and Teller are just trying to get us all on the same page. They think that they can trust these doctors, but they can't. Alternative medicine is important. It does do something. Lots of different alternative medicines are affecting directly the aura, the energy field. The energy field is very important to the fucking, cosmology of your body. Everything rotating around itself the right way, everything moving correctly. Alien abductions? Come on, Penn. Come on, Teller. Obviously, they probably walked back on that one. End of the world scenarios. There's a lot of nuance to end of the world scenarios, because end of the world scenarios are all psychic predictions. And psychic predictions are people looking at a multiverse of possible futures and pulling one out. Probably the one that they are most energetically aligned to. But just because they're energetically aligned to that outcome doesn't mean that you're energetically aligned to that outcome. Is end of the world scenarios, conversations, whatever, like all bunk on every level? No. There's a lot of interesting conversations about it. Does it mean that the world is going to come to an end like that, like the scary ways they tell us? No. Nothing scary that they tell us is actually going to happen. Anything scary that you're told like that, like the world's going to end? No. That's a control mechanism. Fear is all for control. And as fear evaporates, all this shit's going to go away. So now, episode 5, check this out, right? Episode 5 is only recently been validated by this reality. As it turns out, tobacco is actually very good for you in certain ways, like tobacco patch and other things. It is very good. It has components in your body, components for your body that are positive. Secondhand smoke and this baby, the babies and all this, they're going to get cancer. There are so many cancer-causing factors in your environment. The idea that secondhand smoke is just getting on things and it's more deadly than the actual people smoking themselves. And whether or not people smoking is even bad. Okay, no, it's not. People have been smoking for years and years and years and years. It's not the smoking. It's the quality of the tobacco that they are growing. They are growing it with poisons and heavy metals and so many things. And the quality has gotten to such a bad degree that it is not great, and it can be a contributor to cancer. But people who are not susceptible to cancer do not get cancer. Cancer is almost exclusively anger. It's about being angry and resentful about things. People who die of cancer on some quiet level, energetically, and if you think back to all the people that you know who have ever died of cancer or experienced it, I could tell you with me, I know every person that I know that has died or is struggling with it. I either know that they're wrestling with some very heavy anger, resentment, or I have suspicions that they may indeed be wrestling with something very heavy. And when you're wrestling with that, there's all sorts of things that might cause cancer. And cancer, for those of you who don't know, because this has been coming out in the underground very, very loudly, and I don't know if it's gotten to enough places, cancer is fucking parasites. It is something that your body is doing to protect you from parasitic infections. When we go in and we biopsy these fucking cancer causes, we actually make it worse. Biopsies make it worse. Mammograms make it worse. Everything that they do for you in cancer treatment, down to fucking radiation, just makes it worse. If you have cancer, if you find out that you have cancer or anything else, go dig in online. There are at least a half a dozen fucking cures for cancer that have been available forever. And now the one that seems most effective is ivermectin and fembezidol together. I am not a medical doctor. Fuck you, you fucking assholes. I'm an intelligent person, smart enough to fucking read and to figure out correlations between things. And so are you. Do not just listen to all of these assholes telling you all the shit, all the alternative medicine's wrong. See, Penn and Teller, they were believing that, but they were willing to question enough that this secondhand smoke and baby, the baby thing, just or was the baby bullshit a secondary thing? It was like all about like baby stuff. And some of that was right. Sex. I don't remember. Feng shui, bottled water. They wanted to talk shit about feng shui and bottled water. Bottled water, on a lot of levels, bottled water is absolute bullshit. And they're 100% right. And you actually absorb more hydration, more water through an iced tea or a tea, something like that. Something that's mostly water, but has particulates of other things. You get more hydrated from drinking that. So these guys were cleverly seeing that. Feng shui, which they wanted to fucking put the kibosh on. Feng shui, everybody will do it different. Yeah, that's true. That it can be interpreted a lot of ways. But if you really look at feng shui from a thing of like, well, let me try to understand, there is a ton of pieces of information that you can take from feng shui that, at the very least, feels very right. Like something simple, like if you want to replace a piece of furniture, get rid of it and allow the empty space of that piece of furniture that you want replaced to pull in a new piece. As long as you have a piece, it's basically filling that energy, so it's harder to sort of replace it. There were so many little things that my I had a girlfriend that I got out with for a little while who was really into feng shui, and different things that she would mention, because I just thought bullshit from bullshit. I was still going off of that's bullshit. And then she just gave me a bunch of pieces of information from it, and every single time I went, wow, that makes total sense, and like that seems like there's wisdom in this way of thinking about arranging things, or whatever. So is it all? But no. And actually being able to see the way that they're approaching their conversations and where they're getting it wrong, really, really good to help you with your critical thinking and you figuring things out. Episode of creationism, obviously, he's going by some of the fucking people who think creationism is this, that, or the other thing. Like, I don't go with the theory of evolution just as it is by itself. I think there's a lot more going on that probably connects into creationism. So is creationism bullshit? No. Is some of it? Yeah. I mean, everything is going to be fucking nuanced. Everything that we're going to learn is going to be a certain amount of nuance to these things. So, and they go very absolute at certain things, and sometimes they're on the money, but not always. Self-helpless. That episode is a great one, and I agree with so many of the things that they talk about there. But then you got ESP, and I don't necessarily agree with everything there. The government is literally using people to remote view locations to bomb targets across the world. Militaries across the world, listen to me, militaries across the world are using ESP for military application. It's happening all the time. Okay? So I'm sorry, guys, but you're wrong. Yes, some people are weak. Some people are inconsistent. Some people are scam artists. But there are people out there with real powers. I know so many. My good friend Steve Sage, a little psychic in his own right. He's got this lady who he grew up with. She's just freaking psychic and very psychic, always knows everything. Eddie Murphy was just talking about a documentary. Actually, not his documentary, but he was being interviewed. And he was talking about this lady who he fucking grew up with. She told him she died. He fucking nursed her back to health kind of thing. She told him before she died he was going to be famous. And she was psychic, like about everything. There are a lot of people out there who are real. Trust me, though, if you're going around going, ESP isn't real. I mean, ESP isn't real, and being down on this stuff, those people aren't going to necessarily come. Let me show you my friend. You know, like that's not what happens. They think that you're going to like judge that person for even claiming to be experiencing something like that. So they just keep you guys away. But if you dig deep enough into the fucking subject, I mean, I just had a friggin' seance, not a seance, but it was my mom got me the psychic that connects you to your dead relatives and stuff. And I talked to Jason David Frank, the Green Power Ranger, who was a decent friend of mine. He and I became friends. We wanted to be more friendly. And it's a real bummer. He passed away before I had an opportunity to do that. And Jason came through and spoke to me. So again, talking to the dead. Well, I don't know, man. Everything that this guy said from Jason, and like how did he fucking know? Like, I mean, granted, he didn't know it was the Green Power Ranger, but I knew who it was. I knew who was talking to me, and how he was talking, what he was saying. He's saying, "We're bros, man. We're all good, you know. We're bros." And Jason would, that is a word Jason would use. That is something Jason said. Yeah. But look, season 1 is filled with wonderful questioning. Some of it is off. Some of it is on. Some of this baby bullshit, yeah, awesome. They're right. And the secondhand smoke stuff, they're right. You know, some of the alternative medicine stuff, they're right. Because again, you get some scam artists there. And then sex, and like, you know, just there's tons of things. There's so many things in here where they're not wrong. Like even in the episodes where on some level they're wrong. Like, you know, they're saying creationism is bullshit. And on some levels it is, obviously. But on some levels their way of thinking is bullshit. So, you know, they're sitting there going, this is blah, blah, blah. But you know, some of it's right. And some of their questions of it are great and worth fucking questioning. So like, I think you see, right? I can't not still recommend it because it's just such a great conversation about these things. Eat This. I don't remember exactly what Eat This was about. The Ouija boards, near-death experiences. Ouija boards are legit, man. Near-death experiences are even more legit. The fact that they are trying to call out these people, this idea that all of these people are just dying and they're hallucinating an experience. That is what is being said by basically everybody who says that these are bunk. Okay. They're hallucinating the experience only works if you've only heard 1, 2, or maybe even 3 of the fucking hundreds of thousands of near-death experiences that have gone on. They are unbelievably consistent when you listen to a lot of them. Demonstrate similar mechanisms, similar movements, similar archetypes, similar everything. And they are crazy common. More than that, the stories that you will hear from every person will move you. They will stir you. You will feel them. You will understand why this important thing, this message needed to get to these people. There's a channel on YouTube, I don't remember what it's fucking called, but it's literally dedicated to near-death experiences. There's nothing bullshit about them. Ouija boards, on the other hand, are easy to manipulate because you got multiple people who are, you know, like anybody could be moving the thing or whatever. So there's a certain amount of stupidity there. But do I think it's possible for the spirits of the other side of things to move a little piece of plastic through you? Abso-fucking-lutely. Hell yes. And are there people with fucking compelling Ouija board stories and stuff? Absolutely. You know, I don't want to do it. I really don't. I think it's a bad idea. I think what the Ouija board represents is a very bad idea. That's how much I believe in it. I know it's real. I know it's real in some of the things that it is capable of doing. Bad things that can happen with a Ouija board. And granted, with somebody like me, I'm not going to worry too much about that because I'm very conscious of myself and the voices in my head and, you know, whatever else. I'm very, very aware. But like for anybody who's just like, this is the board game and we're talking, you could fucking accidentally fill your house up with demons, man. You really could. Really, really could. That stuff is real. They're out there influencing voices. Why we all have such a hard time fucking getting better, growing? Because we constantly have these little voices that sound just like us, whispering in our ear, telling us, "Oh, I can't do it." It's very real. And until you engage in that conversation in a good way, the ideas of demons and archives, they're probably going to get there eventually. You're going to be kind of left at a loss. So, also here, the final episode of the first season is environmental hysteria. Dude, environmental hysteria, it's all bunk. It's all about political fucking things. It's all about we need to get this carbon tax because then we can steal money from the carbon tax. So we can take that carbon tax, we can actually pay it to do things that we want to do instead of actually saving the planet. Environmental hysteria is all bunk. It's all, I mean, anything that's meant to make us afraid, dude. So I'm going to look at the second season, third season, fourth season, and we'll just talk largely. Just I'm going to keep kind of pointing to the rights and the wrongs, but the rights in particular, because, like I said, because of what they're doing, the nature of what they're doing is they're just questioning. They don't have all of the information that they need to get some of these answers right, but just the exploration is worth the time. Season 2 talks about PETA. Oh boy, there's some interesting things to talk about with PETA. They are fucking crazy extremists. 2, safety hysteria. Oh yeah, man. I'll tell you, safety belt is a bad idea. It's literally telling yourself, selling your whole physical body that you are in danger. And that if you don't safety harness yourself, something bad might happen. This is creating subconscious fear. All things like that create subconscious fear. You're probably still living in the matrix the way it has always been traditionally done. But I'm living in the matrix the way it needs to transform to be. And some of the ways it needs to transform to be is us getting rid of all these different little ways in which we're so afraid of everything. Because we really are. We're just like, we're so scared of this and we're so scared of that. And we can't possibly, get to a good place with all of these things if we don't get to a place of balance. So anything that we have that is being put in such a extreme way as to cause fear, like, oh no, the whole planet's going to blow up because if it's going to be earthquake season or it's going to get so hot, all of this, or cancer's exploding, like all of these things, even like right now what's going on where you have them talking about the weather. Oh, we're going to get 17 inches of snow, and then we got 6 inches of snow. Or we're going to have a big hurricane, and there was no hurricane. I would tell you that literally all of these things are being done on purpose because at the tippy top of the power structure here on planet Earth, they understand that we're living in a collective consciousness. And a collective consciousness decides on things together. In tandem, we're constantly agreeing on things together and sort of creating the universe around us based on consensus. And, that means there's a certain amount of averaging going on. You think this, I think that. So then there's like some sort of middle average, but you're bringing more of what you see as the version of the world into reality. And I'm bringing more of what I see as the version of the world into reality. And, what the hell happened here? Sorry, I had my my phone died on me, and I've been using it as a list. Okay, there we go. Let's go back up. So really, across the board, all a consistent mistake that Penn and Teller make is, one, just not recognizing some Eastern medicine kind of ideas of, the auric field, your energy field, how your energy field, why your energy field matters, to your. Okay, I got I lost my list for a second, but I got it back up. So we're looking at season 2. We said PETA. We said safety hysteria. We got the business of love. They're talking about how people are being preyed upon. They become a business. I'm trying to get a relationship. They're on the money. They talk about the war on drugs. They're on the money, even though there's a ton of shit that they're missing there. They talk about recycling and how recycling is bullshit. My dad has hated hearing from me that recycling is bullshit for so long. And they are right. They're on the money. My girlfriend's dad is a city councilman, and he will tell you the recycling bin garbage that gets picked up and the regular garbage that gets picked up all get dumped at the same site. Same exact site, on the same spot, not separated, dumped in the same place. Then you got the Bible, fact or fiction, which again, if you're a skeptic atheist like me, and you don't want to look too deeply into all these things, and there's no evidence for any of the things that they're talking about, you just stop and you don't look any further into it. I'm telling you, man, every fucking war and major thing that has gone on planet Earth has been half of the time, war is literally being fought over biblical shit. The Ark of the Covenant, which apparently there seems to be more than one. There is so much history in these old books, and if the U.S. government is taking it seriously, you should too. All right. Whoa. I can't believe how much time it's already taken. But I have so many more episodes that I want to do for the show. So you know what? I'm calling it audible. We're going to do this for the Saturday episode, and I'm going to record something shorter for fucking Friday. Because this is just too fun anyway. So in this season as well, we've got 7. Episode 7 is yoga, tantric sex, etc. I can tell you all of those things are legit and have legitimate basis in reality. 8, we've got the Fountain of Youth, and 9, we've got Death Incorporated. Now, Fountain of Youth is great because so many of the things that they take down within it, of like people going after this thing, are great that they're taking them down. But the Fountain of Youth in general as an idea, geniuses like Ray Kurzweil have been saying for forever that, at a certain point in time, there's a transcendental moment, and all of a sudden, people are going to be able to live a very long time, which I think is absolutely true. So don't write off the Fountain of Youth. But Death Incorporated, here's another one of those episodes where Penn and Teller are doing God's work. The Death Incorporated, the business of death, the taking advantage of people dealing with the loss of loved ones is just insane. Insane. So to get them, to be able to take this down, like I said, all this stuff that tends to deal with the system is just so fucking beautiful. And Death Incorporated is a particularly great one. Profanity is really good. That's episode 10. Episode 11 is on 12-stepping. That's a good one too. I think there's arguments to be made, I suppose, on the other side of things. I know there's some people who would passionately disagree, but I think the critique that are being made are worthwhile ones, a lot of them. And then you've got, to end the season, Exercise versus Genetics and Hypnosis. Now, hypnosis is a very wrong conclusion. Ultimately, I've ended up coming across a number of people who have been using hypnosis and really doing some interesting and great things, despite the fact that they want to say it's all in everybody's head. I'm not so sure. And Exercise versus Genetics, there's a whole bunch of interesting, compelling stuff. Like I keep saying, I'm probably going to call this episode recommending and partially debunking. There's so much stuff that's good here, but I still recommend it, even though there's a lot of stuff that's bad here, like the hypnosis thing. As with everything, you learn from people. Don't take every single thing that they have to say at face value. I got to experience this at the time. I'm sure there was a thing or two that I was like, I don't know about that or whatever. But ultimately, years later, coming back around, still appreciating it for what it was and what it taught me, and what it can still teach you, just all the thinking that's on display here, no matter what your beliefs may be. So as we get into season 3, there's a great episode on circumcision. Oh, circumcision is a bad thing, dude. I legitimately think circumcision plays a part in, damaging the males of the species and making them more prone to things like rape and sexual assault. And glad to see an episode on that. Then you got family values and the myth of the traditional family. I think there's some mixed things here too on some of this. I mean, but a lot of the information is again, it's all interesting, and just
so many statistics and things that are often used and cited at various times are provided by the government, and they're friggin' false on purpose. And over time, we'll get other sort of perspectives that are done by outside sources in enough of like a amount that all of a sudden they'll start acknowledging, oh, well, it looks like there's some evidence that this is true and not what we've been propagating. So sometimes here, some of the information that I get, they're getting, I feel like is maybe a little bit skewed. But again, they're always asking great questions. They're always bringing up good points. Just like conspiracy theories. So if you want to talk about like flat Earth, like I always say, flat Earth. If you want to go straight to the conclusion, which is the Earth is flat. Okay, perhaps that sounds stupid, or perhaps that's not. That's not near what the conclusion that should be came to from the information. But the conspiracy is not about the theory. It's about the information that leads to the conspiracy. What is the information that's there that people are looking at and scratching their heads going, what does this mean? And how do we get to the bottom of that information and get a good answer on the whole thing? And that's, you get there by asking all these questions just like they are in any number of ways. So even when I think they're wrong, I think it's worthy to have these questions, make these questions. Threes on conspiracy theories, of course, they're against them, but they're idiots. I love them. You guys are the best. You're just a little old. It's okay. I understand. I was just like you. It took some things. I love you, Penn. I love you, Teller. 4 was on life coaching. That's a good one. Again, there can be, with all of the things on so many levels, there are exceptions to every rule, and maybe there is a good life coach out there, and Tony Robbins definitely helped my mom and my dad, but there's definitely a lot of scamming going on there. And even though the category, like it says life coaching, oftentimes the episode itself will be focusing on a few specific things that are clearly scams and whatever else. So I give thumbs up to so much of that. 5, Holier Than Thou, similar kind of a vibe episode. 6, College, that's a great one, calling bullshit on college. 7, calling bullshit on Big Brother, following the Patriot Act and whatnot. It's really great. I mean, it's like I shouldn't even like tell you all of their takes or whatever. You should like go and go, ooh, what will their take be? Because sometimes you might be surprised. Number 8 is Hair, the business of hair. All the business of episodes are fucking awesome. Gun Control is 9, which is again, I'll leave it to you to find out. Where do Penn and Teller fall on gun control? You might be surprised. Number 10, Ghostbusters, people who are ghost hunters. They, of course, they pretty much take them to task. And I don't know about these ghost hunters or whatever. I don't know who wants to hunt ghosts. It's sort of a silly thing. But do I believe in ghosts? I do. And I have enough evidence to know that, seen enough and known enough and experienced enough myself personally to know that, yeah, there's something to that. But what's going on with these people? I don't know. They might deserve a Penn and Teller bullshit episode on them. And then we got endangered species, which is an interesting subject because it's used so often by the powerful for their own means. Then there's one on signs from heaven, which is funny. Of course, you might go either way on it, but it's interesting to have it questioned. And finally, 13 is a great one. The best. Calling bullshit on the best. Do you have the best? Is it the best? Season 4 talks about the Boy Scouts in the opening the opening episode, which was definitely a good one. Number 2, prostitution, and there's so many freaking weird things with prostitution and places where it's legal. It's really an interesting subject, as is the death penalty for episode number 3. Episode 4 is cryptozoology. Of course, they take cryptozoology to task, but again, I would say they're wrong about that. 5, Ground Zero, a great subject. A lot of different interesting things going on. Preventing the rebuilding, all this different stuff that was going on, worthy to look at. 6 is pet love, which is the length people will go to for their pets. And they were calling bullshit on how insane animal care and all this stuff has become. 7, bullshit on reparations. And that's all an interesting subject as well, and kind of a brave one for 2 white men to have a conversation about. 8, manners. I really like that one as well. I've always been really against fucking the suit and tie and like all this formality, and that's a cool one. The bullshit on manners. And this season only goes to 10, but the final 2 episodes are numbers. Numbers could be made to mean just about anything. It is interesting at the same time. There is validity to numbers. These are just very complex conversations being had by people who don't really know what they're talking about at the end of the day. Because none of us really know what we're talking about when it gets into really fucking next level kind of things. 10, abstinence. The religious right have persuaded the government to pay for abstinence teaching in schools, and basically it doesn't do anything. So many of the episodes really center around the fact that there'll be something going on that is just useless. Like, we're doing this thing, but it doesn't actually do anything to help us. So season 5 comes along with obesity. And basically, you know, it being that it's being overstated to advantage drug companies in a lot of ways. Again, I think some of you guys might have some arguments against some of their points or whatever, but they're going to make some points that to a certain degree are a little bit inarguable. These are facts. They're going to bring up facts, but then you might want to go, well, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean this, that, whatever. Again, creating unique arguments, and sometimes they are on the money. They got a great episode on Walmart, calling bullshit on Walmart and how it's bad. So it's asking if Walmart is as bad as it's made out to be. But of course, sometimes they end up riding the line of the corporate establishment because they're very rational. What does the official book say? Kind of thing. Sometimes. So I'll leave that one up for surprise on all of it. Some of the episodes end up being a lot more of like a middling conversation than you might imagine as well, especially just over time. Early episodes, it's like, we got a bone to pick. But then as you get to the later seasons, they definitely become a little bit of at least this thread of this conversation is stupid. We're still now. Episode 3 is breast hysteria, and that's an interesting one, as well as detoxing, which is episode 4. Which detoxing, I think they're wrong about a lot of these things on the detoxing one. Breast hysteria, though, yeah, there's some interesting things going on there. And in some of the cases with the detoxing and the people that you're dealing with, then yeah, the people that he interviewed and whatnot, they don't really know what they're talking about, but that doesn't necessarily mean that detoxing isn't a real and reasonable thing. As well as exorcism. I mean, so much has been written about fucking exorcisms, like by the Catholic Church and it's like, if there was nothing to it, it's just like, why all these people went out of their way to make up these long ass scary stories that are based out of the Catholic Church or whatever. And I happen to know there's a lot of factors going on that other people don't normally consider that play into the idea of other spirits that might try to get a hold of somebody who's maybe a little bit weak-willed or whatever else. But it's interesting, so much of these conversations. And I mean, like I said, some of them play as comedy. And maybe the exorcism one might for you. Immigration is interesting. Interesting to see Penn and Teller's take. You got handicap parking is episode 7, which is an interesting perspective as well for them. Episode 8, Mount Rushmore. It's there's so many interesting sort of caveats and historical bits about some of these places and some of these issues that they end up bringing up that you're going to be like, what the fuck? it was built by a racist against the wishes of the Native Indian tribe. So it's like, here is this big national monument, and they're like, we're going to put up a bunch of white people on your land. And apparently this dude was a documented racist or whatever else, and there's been controversy surrounding it. So, like, you're definitely going to have a couple issues brought to your attention that you never knew about. Then last 2 episodes of the season are 9 nukes, hybrids, and lesbians. It's just an interesting episode. I'll just leave it at that. And episode 10, anger management, which is, some reasonable critiques on that whole system and what people are being sent to anger management and why. Episode 6, season 6, they come in with the war on porn. Their perspective largely is that, Christians say it's bad for you. I think we've got a lot more than just Christians who have denoted that on some levels, and depending on how it's being used, it's not necessarily great for you. I think a reasonable, perspective is probably there, but listening to them conversate about it's worthwhile. 2, New Age medicine, which of course they don't go for, but I would recommend a lot of New Age medicine. You just got to get the right people and understand why some of these things work. Then they call bullshit on NASA, and argue that the private sector should finance NASA instead of our taxes, which I think so too. And then they got dolphins, and basically it's I'm just reading the little summation that I have here. And it says that Penn and Teller conclude that dolphins are just dumb fish that some hippies give special powers to. That's kind of what happens there. I mean, I don't think they trash the dolphins. Yeah, I guess they do a little bit. I mean, but it's sort of just in reference to the hippie people who are saying that dolphins have more shit going on. But I do think dolphins do have more shit going on. So, yeah. Sleep Incorporated. This is an interesting one. Just so much like the audio industry and whatever else. Like, how much sleep is too much good sleep? And what are the signs that say that perhaps we should sleep on the floor and that would be better for us? It's a little weird. And then you got 6, being green. That's a great subject, calling bullshit on being green. Again, another thing that's been taken over by corporate America and doesn't mean... It used to be pollution. Now it's all of a sudden it's carbon emissions, which is a way of focusing things away from the fact that they're still dirtying all the water and still dirtying all the air and, trying to focus on limiting one type of pollution only. Like, it's just... This is a diversionary tactics so that they don't have to fucking deal with the thing. Great episode by Penn and Teller. And then 7, 8, 9, 10, you got sensitivity training, which is of course a fun one. 8, stranger danger. Which it's interesting. I do think to a large degree parents are too protective of their kids and that kids should go out and they should feel safer in their neighborhoods and things like that. And I think kids would be even safer if we all did that, if we were all outside in our neighborhoods and all, sort of participating in more of a thing. And it's a great episode because I whether it ends up being true or not, statistically, I don't know. But I believe that attitude is better for us all as a society. And then 9 is world peace, which is an interesting one from their perspectives. Basically saying that free trade is the only way to guarantee world peace, which to some degree I do think that that's true. Just the way we're doing the financial system and money system needs to change, even though trading is very good. And then 10, the good old days, which is a great one to call bullshit on. The good old days. Remember the good old days. Good old days of society and various other things. So they go to 8 seasons, of course, I said, and we are at season 7, which I think, again, has 10 episodes. starting with orgasms. And people who claim to be able to get a better orgasm, and they call bullshit on all this stuff. And they've kind of called bullshit on tantra before, but these are real things. I think you can get like stupid people to talk about these things, and they often do. Episode 2 is astrology. Again, not one that I think that they're on the money on, but worthwhile to talk about some of these things because they bring up good conversations. But you have to have conversations with people who also know about astrology deeply, or deeply enough. Episode 3, video games. Moral panic against violent video games. It's unwarranted. That's the secret. Then you got episode 4, the apocalypse. Talk about end of the world scenarios. And then, of course, they're bullshit. Ends of cycles and ends of things, they're being interpreted as these fear-mongering type sort of things. What's actually being said is, more metaphoric or never meant to be interpreted as fire and brimstone. And rightfully, they call bullshit on, I think, a little bit more the Mayan calendar and a couple things. Episode 5, you got the lie detectors, which is an interesting one. How many people have been, seeing the lie detectors in movies? But lie detectors, bullshit. 6, organic foods, and this is an interesting one. Of course, I do believe in organic foods, even though it shouldn't be organic foods. It's like the foods that aren't organic should be labeled as this is not real food. But they bring up some really interesting aspects of the situation that a lot of people probably aren't considering. Episode 7, taxes. Why taxes are so complex. How did it start? There's a whole big argument that, it doesn't even say anywhere that we're supposed to be taxed the way we are, and that it's not even written down anywhere. And it's a very complicated, interesting issue. Episode 8's very funny on lawns and, American houses, how we got lawns in the first place, and what the fuck are we doing here? Making our lawns look perfect for each other. And then episode 9 is stress, and when was stress discovered? What is it? They call bullshit on stress. It's interesting subject. I think pinpointing a name on stress as a thing helps to get to the bottom of it for people and to help them resolve it, perhaps. But on some levels, you're going to see there's some bullshit mixed into this thing. And then 10, the Vatican. Penn and Teller reveal what an evil organization the Vatican really is, and it is. Fucking hate the Vatican. They've got a library full of friggin' books that they've confiscated over the years and so many different things, and I want to go in it, and I want to murder all those people. Just the fact that they're hoarding information from people. I'm not a violent person at all, but the idea of intellectual information being hoarded from the entirety of the public, and the amount of things that you will hear about what's going on over that, you're just like, these are the tip of the good people who are following Christ. It's all fucked up. It's very fucked up. All right, going into the last season of Penn and Teller's bullshit, we've got episode 1, cheerleaders. Look into why feminists and company varsity do not want cheerleading to be classified as a sport. And this is despite it being more dangerous than ice hockey. And my ex-wife Patty was very happy about this episode at the time, because I knew about all these things because she was a coach, and she went out for one of the pro teams. She almost made it. She got into some final rounds or whatever, but she would mostly coach young girls, and she was in her in high school or whatever. When I met her, she was a cheerleader. And there's a lot of injuries there, and so they doing a good deed, as so often are. Fast food, another good deed. Martial arts, another good deed. There's a lot of hazy martial arts schools out there and a lot of hazy martial artists. Steven Seagal. No, Steven Seagal's got some amount of stuff on it, but the amount he talks himself up is just crazy. And sort of holes in games and different things like that. There's a reason why mixed martial arts is so whatever. But there's a couple different people on YouTube who will tell you, basically, with some forms of thing, if you just stand up, just keep standing up, and they can't do anything if you refuse to lay on the ground and grapple with them. And it's very interesting, some of the truth behind some of these martial arts. So finally, you've got episode 4, teens. Not finally, sorry. Carrying on, we've got episode 4, teen sex, which is basically them arguing that nothing's changed. I don't know. It's interesting, some of the arguments that they make. 5, easy money, and tons of just bullshit things for networking, whatever else, to make money fast. That's a worthy conversation to be had. Episode 6 is Area 51. And basically, Penn's like, there's nothing going on here at all. These people are just fucking nuts. Of course, he's an idiot. 7 is criminal justice. And that the criminal justice system is broken and forensic science is far from perfect, and it's absolutely true. And this is, again, it's like there's so many fucking good deeds in this show, and then other ones not so much. Another good deed is old people. Episode 8, Penn and Teller show how American society disrespects old people. It's really true. 9 is Penn and Teller doing self-esteem. And there's a lot of people taking advantage of the people who don't have a good self-esteem and trying to build them up. And it's terrible. Where there is a need, there will often be people who are liars. At the same time, there are people like Tony Robbins, as I said before, who have helped my family and, been positive influences. So a lot of these things tend to be specific to so many of the people or whatever else, and also specific to the type of scam and the types of scams that are out there that are worth examining and understanding. Anyway, the final episode is vaccinations, and I'm sorry, guys, that they basically want to say that there's no link to autism and all these things, and they're absolutely wrong about that. And this was one of the this is the last episode of the show, and I was like, guys, you got it so wrong here. But I was starting to get ahead of the curve, and I was starting to dig a little bit deeper into the official narratives and starting to see patterns over and over and over again, and eventually starting to go, okay, well, this isn't all bunk. This is a system that is in place to keep a certain amount of things happening, and one of them is keeping us infertile and really just as sick as possible. And heavy metals are bad for us. And that's why there's a lot of changes going on with RFK Jr. right now. I know a lot of people are very, no, RFK Jr. But he used to be a Democrat. He's a centrist, politician. And he's had a podcast where he's done interviews for years now with some of the most cutting edge scientists and health professionals on planet Earth. People talking sense and really re-looking at medicine and trying to get this thing right, because as is the case with the vaccines, they may do what they say they do, but they also do bad things, and the bad things that they do are worse than the good things they do. The vaccine side effects and the lowering of the immune system to other ailments are worse. There was actually a study done on with the flu vaccine at a military base, and there might have been more than one, but they had given the flu vaccine to some of the people and not to some of the others. Those people didn't get that particular strand of flu who had gotten the vaccine, but they were more prone to getting all of these other things. They got sick from other things because their immune system was run down from the vaccine. So, when we have a case like that where the negative effect is outweighing the positive effect, and we do have immune systems and there is a natural mechanism here to work on our behalf, it's like we got to let that thing happen. So again, it was another one for bullshit that they're a little bit off base on, but they're a little older. These are baby boomers, and I'm one of those millennials who's on the cusp, and I'm a little maybe ahead of my time. So for some of these, you might feel like they're right on the money, and look at me, here I am, I'm respecting their views. I'm just saying, for a lot of you out there, I just want to warn you, some of these will necessarily put you in the wrong direction, because there is a little bit more going on. But in most cases, they're right. about the specific issues that they're talking about or some of the specific instances that seem fugazi. But there is truth on the other side of a lot of the things that they get into. But, you get into something like recycling and whatever else. And no, it's mostly just a waste of our time. And the things that they bring up that are mostly just a waste of our time or mostly just a quagmire that needs to be fixed, like the criminal justice system or how we treat old people. And I mean, you're really going to be thrilled. Penn and Teller are smart guys. They're, brought up at a certain time, like I said, baby boomer, but I don't mean that in like a mean way, but just a product of that generation, which is a little bit more locked in certain ways. And they come from a really practical atheist sort of standpoint where they want all of this religious argument to be over with and us to come together and make the world a better place, And I get that. I'm all about that. And I think everybody in their right mind is all about that. And so no matter what argument they're making, even if they're making the argument completely against your values, I think you'll sit there and go, you got to love these guys because they're honest and true. They're going about it from a place of their own personal discernment. And even when they don't get it wrong, I'm glad that they're there asking questions. Now, because we went so long on this one, I've decided I'm putting this out as the Saturday episode. I'm probably going to go back to the front of this and just say, hey, I've decided to do this as Saturday's episode. But I love you so much. Thank you for listening to the show. Of course, we'll be back this week with another 5 awesome recommendations across all the different shit that we usually do. And another, hour-long show next week. I'm eventually going to do The Shield. I'm rewatching The Shield right now with Michael Chiklis. I love that show. It's a favorite of mine, so I'm rewatching it so I can do an hour-long talking about how great the fucking Shield is. You can email me at jbs@blacklightdistrict.studio. Life is fucking good. I hope life is good for you. I'm working on getting out this album that I did the Kickstarter for last time, and so I can work on the next Kickstarter, which I'm thinking is maybe going to be for a Strangeland miniseries that we did at Fangoria, but only the first issue came out many years ago now. A D. Snider Strangeland comic, graphic novel, I should say. I'm working on getting all that stuff done right now. But yeah, life is good. Music stuff's going on. I got a really cool music project happening. People were trying to get me to go sing for my dad, to take over for Twisted Sister, which was really like flattering. And but they actually are using Sebastian Bach from Skid Row, which is cool. He's a great choice, I think. And it led to giving me a little bit of inspiration. So, yeah, I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good. If you're not or if you are, Care Bear Stare out there, thank you so much for listening to the show. And I'll see you again next time on another fucking awesome episode of The Coolest Alive. Peace out. You've been listening to Coolest Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snider. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent entertainment recommendations. Thanks for listening.
It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, say. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah! It's my favorite part. Isn't it heavy? I'll play that. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Coolest alive. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Stay with your tribe. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Revenge of the Geeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Week after weeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Laughing with you. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And cry sometimes too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Spelling it out. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Making you shout. I'm a genius. I got lyrics coming out me bum for days. gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living the shit. My voice is gonna be fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Call right or text. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Raising the bar. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Straight to the stars. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's starting soon. Straight to the top. It's passing the moon. It's gonna be fucking awesome. On with the show. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Ready, set, go.
It's got to be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gotta be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
The podcast playground.